What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of FGC Talk. This is a podcast where we discuss a lot about the fighting game community and our results, news, and tournament experiences. I'm one of your hosts, Jard. I'm here with a couple of my other buddies that have done the podcast with me. One is Geraldo Coyle, Mike.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And the other is the newly signed to Winterfox, formerly FGC Samurai, Mikey.
Hello.
And JR will be joining us very soon in this podcast. So we're going to kind of get started. This is our post-Capcom Cup podcast. So tonight's episode is going to kind of just be going over Capcom Cup because all of us were just there yesterday and this past weekend. And Mikey, you kind of competed in it. If everybody didn't know, he competed in the Capcom Cup this weekend. So I guess the first thing I wanted to just kind of go over was the results. If anybody didn't see that, NuckleDu ended up winning Capcom Cup on Saturday night, defeating Ricky Ortiz in Grand Finals, an All-American Grand Finals, which was amazing to see. There was a lot of good action, a lot of good matches throughout the weekend. So before we kind of get into like the winners and everything, I want to kind of talk about Mikey, your experience with Capcom Cup, because I know you qualified to play in that top 32 at Friday at the esports arena, and I know you've been working really hard. So kind of give me your thoughts about how Capcom Cup went for you, and what did you think?
It was really cool. They took care of us a lot. Everything was taken care of, the hotel, the food, everything. So it was really nice that the hospitality was there. The only thing that I wished was, I guess, present was us being at the PlayStation experience. We were obviously at the esports arena the first until top 8, and then top 8 went to PlayStation experience, and it's a big deal, I guess. You want to be able to play at the PlayStation experience, be on the main stage, and play in front of all those players. I mean, it's the same thing too. You're playing against an audience, or you're playing with an audience in front of you at esports arena, but it's not as a big scale compared to when we had top 8. So I think that's my only complaint. Otherwise, it was fine. It was good.
Okay. When you were playing, preparing up to this, when you played on Friday at the esports arena, any nerves or anything? Because I noticed that there was, at least with matches in the top 32, and even you can tell at the top 8 on Saturday night, there was nerves with a lot of players. So did you have any nerves going into your first match?
There were definitely some tensions between all players. For me personally, it wasn't really nerves, is whether my preparations were proper, if they were in line with my opponents. And my first match was against NuckleDu, and it wasn't. So that kind of screwed me over a little bit. But I mean, you can only do so much to prepare, and NuckleDu was evicted that day, and he ended up winning the whole event. So I'm pretty satisfied with everything. And you saw a lot of players, even before top 8, top 32, they were very serious. They were very focused, right? Mm-hmm. And then in top 8, they were even more focused. So a lot of players really wanted this. So yeah, nerves were there, just in different ways, in a sense.
Okay. Well, what did you kind of think of, because they played every match on stream. So after you played your first match against Du, and you play Chris Tatarian next, but you didn't play for a while. Did you think that, or how did you kind of stay focused?
So they had a VIP area for the players and some other staff members to so not really be away from the other areas of the venue, but just to refocus, warm up, have the stream in front of them, and have refreshments or whatever they needed to stay focused, right? So I took advantage of that. I actually ended up playing Daigon Tokido a lot to sort of stay warm with my footsies and my fireball game, and I think that helped me out quite a bit. I actually came to the venue at 8:30, a little bit later actually. Then I just had to play. I played like a couple games with DRA, and then I had to play, and I didn't really get to warm up as much. It's not an excuse, obviously, but I went over there, I went up to the VIP room, came down, and then I was sitting there, and I just practiced my breathing, and that was the extent of my preparations in the very beginning. Now I should have ate breakfast, but they didn't really have much to eat there. But those were some things that I did to sort of stay focused at the event overall.
Okay. Because I noticed that it was it was a long wait between a lot of the matches, and I can tell that for some players that could take a toll on them, knowing that, let's say that you play one match, you may not play another match for another hour or so. So being able
Yeah.
to be able to maintain focus and everything is such a huge thing. And
Yeah.
I guess it was nice to have casuals and stuff upstairs, because I did see a lot of people still playing. Like I got to play Daigo for a little bit, and
Yeah.
so that was nice to see.
It was actually like 2 or 3 hours, maybe even four for some players. The wait was that long, and you can't just sit there and do nothing. I guess for me at least. So I just decided to play and stay focused, and I try to eat and drinks a lot of water. But some players, they're different. They'd rather just sit there and watch, rather than play. So different people.
Okay. Um, let's see. The only thing I can kind of think of is, before I get into Mike's thoughts about Capcom Cup, do you have any, like, I guess because if people didn't know, like, so you lost to Knuckle Dude, but then you beat Chris Tatarian in a very close set. It was very close. And then you lost to Yukon, I believe, the next match. Can you, if you don't mind, can you kind of like go through, like, now that it's over? I know Tatarian, we've seen you play before, but Yukon, have you played him before? Did you have a game plan going into when knowing that you were going to have to play him?
Against Yugodan, I was pretty confident, but I would say my only experience against Nash is against Ryan and a couple games against Infiltration. So and then also with the Pat Monster, he plays. He's now in LA, but he used to play Nash, and that was my extension of practice with Nash. And so Ryan's style again, and compared to someone like Bonchan or someone like Yukadon, it differs obviously. And so for me to play against Yukadon, I have to get adjusted to his style. He's kind of like ahead of me in a sense, and I have to kind of catch up. And it's not to say that Ryan's Nash isn't good. His Nash is very good. It's just those little nuances that they do that are different makes or breaks the winning the game or losing the game. And the matches weren't as close as I wanted to. Some people say they were, but I did lose 3-0. But you can definitely tell that it took me a while to get comfortable, get adjusted to his movement and what he wanted to do in a matchup, as opposed to playing against Ryan. F-champ at least.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought you played pretty well during the weekend. I know obviously things didn't go your way, but I think this is just like I told you before that weekend, it's a stepping stone for you, man. I think this is just the start of good things to come. So I'm really looking forward to see what you can bring to the 2017 season. So the next thing is, well, with Capcom Cup, like Mike, you were there with us that weekend. So what were your thoughts about the whole experience at Capcom Cup? Like, what did you like, didn't like? What would you like to see?
I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. I guess the one thing I would have liked to seen was have it be like the previous years where every player got to play on the big stage. If you remember last year, like everyone got the entrance at the beginning.
Yeah.
They put all the players on stage, introduced them one by one, and then they kind of made a big deal out of it. That was last year. I mean, even the years before that, everybody played in a really big setting or venue because people were there for those players. The top 8 at the PS Experience was awesome. It was that sort of stage or setting that I wish all 32 players could have played on, because I feel, top 32 best in the world, all those guys deserve to be there. They deserve that moment, whether they go 0-2 or they win. They've at least earned that. But the esports arena still was cool. It wasn't as full as I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be insanely packed. But it was, there was always rooms, there was always spaces to sit, and the casual stations upstairs were awesome. I remember I disappeared for about maybe like an hour and a half. I was just playing, and then I went back and I watched some more matches, and then I kind of started falling asleep. So I went back and played. I went back upstairs and played for like another, 2 hours. So I was just like playing all day on and off, and uh, they had the food trucks out there, which was awesome,
Yeah.
and it was just really fun. It had the FGC heart there, and I really enjoyed my weekend there.
Yeah, it was really cool to see you guys, and my sister was actually there too, supporting me playing. So that was really cool. That really, amped up, the event overall for me, at least personally. So I really appreciate you guys being there for me.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course, we wouldn't
Yeah.
miss it for the world, man. I mean, it's how often
great,
can we?
man.
Well, how often can we say that we have one of our our personal friends or one of our closest friends in the community make this Capcom Cup? Of course, I wasn't going to miss it for the world.
Hmm.
I remember when your sister got there, your social media manager, as you would call her. We had to tell her to go say hi to you because she didn't want to mess up your focus. She's like, nah, he's fine. Just go say hi to him. You'll make him happy. So she went up there and said hi to you. But yeah, man, it was fun. It was great to see you up there playing, and
That's awesome.
those matches were close. And I don't even know if you could hear us, but me and G were popping off, and Jard was going nuts. And there was a time where it was when you were playing Tatarian, I believe.
Oh man, that Tatarian match gave me a heart attack.
And like the camera crew came up and they just had the cameras on me, Jeef, and a couple other people because we were just like going nuts. I think Jard was there too, and they just kept the cameras on us the whole match.
That's awesome, dude.
And so it was just we were like hella getting into it.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Thank you guys so much.
That match gave me a heart attack. Holy cow!
It was one of those things where, man, I'm in a loser's bracket. This is gonna be a hard ass road. I need to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just went ham. I just did some stuff.
I mean, that's why I remember. I don't know if you remember what I told you after that match, but I was like, man, my heart can't take too many more of those.
It was just super, super close. And like, and the thing that a lot of people, I mean, obviously it's just Stream Monster Talk and all this other things, but people can say, oh, you went 0-2 at Capcom Cup. Oh man, like there's no shame in going 0-2 in that tournament.
No.
Like,
No way.
look, every match was killers. Like, I know that people probably didn't expect Human Bomb to beat Infiltration, but Human Bomb's not a scrub.
No,
For the record,
It's good.
I expected Human Bomb to beat Infiltration. You know why? Because Human Bomb beat him in the last two encounters.
Oh, really?
2 or 3 encounters. Yeah, he beat him clean too. They weren't like, oh, he got bodied, but he beat him clean, and you can tell that it was very close.
I picked K-Brad over Daigo.
Yeah, so
You could even ask Jard. I was like,
Yeah.
if there was betting going on, I'd put 20 on K-Brad right now.
Yeah, he did tell me that.
I mean, anybody could have won that day,
Mhm.
honestly, but Nakodu was definitely on fire that day. So
The one thing I like about Capcom Cup is you could feel and see the heart in every match, and like this, how every match means so much to every player in there because you're playing for a huge prize.
Mhm.
But it just every match, every round loss, every game, every pause between matches where you're seeing where you're seeing the players and you're seeing their reactions, even just after a round, like you could just tell their whole heart is into every match, and
Yeah.
it's just a totally different feeling than a regular tournament where you're playing in pools and stuff,
Mhm.
and it's just cool to see that.
Yeah, everybody left everything on. They gave it everything to them.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I saw, Justin, Tatarian, all the Japanese players. Like, for I know NuckleDo won, and like for most people, he was probably the heavy favorite to win this tournament. But I mean, I think you have to give a lot of a lot of credit to Ricky. Ricky Ortiz played amazing that whole weekend.
Oh yeah,
Like
She was-
it was just insane. Like beating Haitani and then making it a USA Grand Final, which probably hasn't. I swear when I was reading on Twitter that night, it was like it hasn't happened since like Evo, like way back when.
Mm-hmm.
But Ricky was just, there's not much to say. She played outstanding.
So,
It was ridiculous.
so the reason why I wanted Ricky to win is because she has gotten second place and third place quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Evo, what is it, 2012 or something like that?
2010.
CVS2. There's a bunch of games that she's gotten second place. I can't remember if she's won an Evo just yet. I want to say no, right? She hasn't won an Evo.
I don't think so.
Yeah, right. But it would make more sense for Nakuru to win because of how strong of a showing he's had, and it would have made sense in the storyline because he won Canada Cup, he won Red Bull, he won he won a bunch of stuff. Regardless, his strength towards the end of the year was just too strong, too something that was not showcased in any other players, and it just made sense for him to win.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that he won.
He's without a doubt, he's the best American player right now. Maybe
I
the
would
best
say
player in the world.
I would say he's the best right now. He's the best, easily.
It's crazy to think that, like, I read something very interesting today about how many matches, if it was, how many results would have been changed if the tournament was initially 2 out of 3 until top 16.
Oh yeah.
Like that, it's crazy to think that a lot of matches would have been that affected. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm glad it was always 3 out of 5 because we got some of the best Street Fighter that we've seen in this game's lifespan, and this and it's only going to get better. And I hope that every year it keeps continuing to build. I mean, I know that as long as the Pro Tour and the Cup is going to be here, that we're going to get quality matches like we did, this past weekend. And one of the other things that I really enjoyed, and I happened to watch some of the old videos, the videos from this past weekend. The production was very good. I really enjoyed the production of the stream value, the commentators that they handpicked to commentate all these matches were great. I think we're stepping in the right direction. So that was, my hat's off to Capcom and whoever selected the commentators. I thought that was great. And another thing too, an unsung hero it's got to be Alex Valle. I saw that guy running around so many times on Friday trying to get matches called up. Doing it's not a very easy task. So shout out to him. That guy's putting in work for the community on top of doing everything else he does. So if that guy is thank you to Alex. So one of the things that I kind of thought about Capcom Cup, like you both kind of mentioned, was it would be very nice to have it where the top 32 did play on the main stage at PlayStation Experience, but I can't see that happening simply because of time, and they use that area also for panels at the Experience.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It would be pretty amazing to see or maybe I don't know. It would be very interesting to see if they can kind of work something out next year.
Well, I think the only reason it was like that because last year in San Francisco, it had its own separate venue. Like it was still at the PS Experience, but it was in a different hall than where all the panels and keynotes were. So I think that's why they gave it the whole day.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But this one, the whole arena shared everything.
Yeah.
So
I was very happy to see everything was full too. All the seats were full and everything. So I would imagine 90% of the people that were there were there to watch strictly that. But you might have had some stragglers there that were at the PSX that sat down and wanted to watch. So
a lot of people, if you didn't go to the PS Experience, there was they had like a little scavenger hunt checklist type thing where you get trophies and cards, and in order to get the platinum trophy, one of them was attend Capcom Cup. So you had to go scan your badge and watch Capcom Cup, and so I think that kind of brought in a lot of people who are just they want to collect all that stuff at the PS Experience, and they want the platinum trophy and everything. So they go check it out and end up having a good time. So
That's awesome.
I think he brought a lot of people that maybe casually play the game or or just wanted to see something like that. Kind of wandered in and had a good time. Because the crowd was insane, man. The crowd was absolutely insane.
The crowd was going nuts, and it really just kind of, at least for me, it really, outside of Evo, it really just kind of shows me how far the community's come and where it could go in the future, especially
Oh, yeah.
if Sony keeps promoting and help building this game and making it grow. I can always see us getting, see it getting bigger and bigger. And, and for most of the professional players, hopefully the prize money is going to be even, bigger in the future. So that's something to kind of look forward to. One of the things that I thought that was very interesting, and this will kind of go into the next topic I kind of wanted to talk about, is if at Capcom Cup, the finals, they did mention that, how they had last chance qualifiers. I thought it was very interesting. They made that announcement that there's going to be a last qualifier at Capcom Cup next year at the PlayStation Experience. So I guess what I want to know is, what do you guys think about that announcement? Because for me, I think that could be, I think it could go two different ways. Like I think it could be great for the viewer, but it could definitely be very stressful for the TOs and the players, depending on if there's a entrance cap, all these different intangibles. But maybe for some people who are on the bubble, that's their, like they said, that's their last chance to get in. So I don't know. What did you guys think of that announcement?
So, as a player, I don't want to be in that situation. That sounds too ridiculous. It's anybody's game. One day, it's like a last chance qualifier. It's like a pool of death if you want to qualify for Capcom Cup. But it also creates a ton of story, right? And that's what we want. We want to create an enriched experience for viewers to watch and say, oh my god, this guy... Like, remember when Martin did so well at NCR in the pool of death? He got top 8. And there were killers in there. There's Chrisitarian, Punko, Mago, and he was the one that made it out. And so that can happen. And that's what I want to see happen. I don't want to be in that pool. And I don't want to experience all those number of high level players potentially being in that bracket. So I think it's a good idea. Mike, what do you think?
I actually like it. It's obviously going to bring out, I think, more players, especially foreign players that do want that last chance to get in.
Yeah.
So I think for the viewers, I think it's going to be, you're going to actually see all the best of the best that haven't qualified yet.
Yep.
And so it's going to be just an insane tournament. The only thing I'm wondering is when they could actually run it. PS Experience is 2 days. So, they already said it was going to be at the next PlayStation Experience as well. So, that makes me wonder, is Capcom Cup just going to be like a top 8? Or will they do the last chance qualifier a Friday and then have the next guys play? But if you do it on a Friday, then, does that mean top 32 is Saturday and then your top 8 is Sunday? Like, it's just, I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to schedule it all out for all the players and everything. But, it's an extra chance, and, you never know what can happen when that wild card gets thrown in. I mean, look what happens when we had 2 wild cards get thrown in there this past week, or was it 3?
It was 3.
There's 3, and you had Human Bomb go in there. You took out DRA, took out Tokido. Human Bomb took out Infiltration, and then who else was it? Yukadon?
Yeah,
it was Yukadon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It was Yukadon who just made a run into top 8 when he was, those 3 guys weren't even supposed to be there that day.
Yep.
And you had guys taking out, 2 of them taking out the 1 and 2 seed, and then the other one making a run to top 8. So
Yeah.
Just seeing that last chance qualifier, going in with the momentum from the win, and just rolling into the next day, I think it's gonna just be something that's really fun to watch.
I agree.
Okay. I'm assuming too then that they're going to make it where even it's going to be a entrance lock or like a cap, but then are they going to let people gatekeep?
That's another story. I think that's something for another time, because I'm assuming they're adjusting the system overall.
Yeah, I imagine the whole point structure and everything is gonna get looked at and reevaluated for next season.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that. But I mean, time will tell, and we'll see. So But we all look forward to it. At least I do. So
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I mean, heck, I'll enter. I'll enter that last chance qualifier just for
I
the
did.
heck.
I'd definitely enter.
Yeah, I just enter for just. You never know. I mean, I don't think I could win, but what if I made a magical run or one of us made a magical run? You never know.
Not even necessarily like magical run. It's situations like that where it brings out the best in every player, and so you could easily have someone take out, like a killer, and it's just, because everyone's there just trying their hardest to win. So it's yeah, I think it's hype, man.
I probably think it's gonna be if it was anything, it would be free and anybody can enter. But I don't know if there'd be a player cap, but that'd be pretty funny.
There has to be a player cap.
It definitely would be free, I believe.
And
You think so?
yeah, but there definitely has to be a player cap because they cannot be there all day.
Yeah, that's true.
And for the most part, I would imagine everything's 2 out of 3 until you get to like grand finals or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Huh?
So because it's time and stuff, you can't have 300 people come out for the qualifier and say, "Hey, we're gonna run 3 out of 5 for everything," But it's gonna be really interesting, and so I'm definitely looking forward to what's in store next year for the tour. I kind of hope, like I know we talked about that last episode. I really hope that they change some things about the tour. So I guess time will tell, and we're gonna get we should be getting answers to that hopefully rather soon, as season 2 is going to be starting, which that's what my next topic is Street Fighter season 2. It's officially going to kick off December 20th with the release of the newest DLC character, Akuma, which was playable this weekend at PlayStation Experience, which for anybody who hasn't seen any footage of Akuma or what he's done, you can check our YouTube channel. I did record a couple videos and posted of Akuma.
And we have the move list on there and alternate colors and everything. So
yeah, so Akuma looks really cool. I felt that he's really fun, kind of slower walk speed and stuff, but he's meant to be a heavy offensive oriented character. Seems like he has pretty good damage output. I think the character could be really, really good. Hopefully for season 2. I thought it was pretty funny that everybody was all hyped for Akuma, and then Mike and I are waiting in line to play, and then you see Tokido standing there, and Tokido's like popping off. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm finally this character." It's like, so it's gonna be really fun to see. Like, I'm assuming Akuma is as good as I think he could be. I think Tokido will probably play him.
He's gonna play both. Play both.
I could see Infiltration play Akuma.
Oh yeah, he's gonna play.
So the character seems really, really good. I didn't get a huge amount of time in with unlike other players, but I'm liking what I see, and I think when December 20th comes out, I'm going to definitely give him a shot. Now, on top of that, what do you guys think of his new look?
His new look is whatever. I'm a big fan of the nostalgia Akuma, where he has like just the gi and everything like that. I actually recently found out that you can take off the gi, I think, and he just has.
Oh wow, you can.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But his new look is whatever. I think it's mostly part of the story. I'm just curious, how did he get all that hair? He's never had a beard. How did he get all that hair on his neck or whatever? Anyway, that's just me. I know in the story costume he has like a messed up eye, or I think his chest is like kind of messed up, his arm is messed up, and it has like these glowing effects. It has something to do with the story, which I believe is it coming out with the on December 20th with everything else? Is that all coming out?
Yeah, that's what it's.
Oh, okay, so everything's coming out at the same time. Okay, so yeah, so we'll see from there. But yeah, it looks pretty cool though. Nothing too crazy.
So I think one of the like you said, I did like a lot of the costumes, and if you guys look at that video that we posted on our YouTube, we went through all the different costumes. I still think the nostalgia one looks the best.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun to see, like, LPN was on the winter station when I got there for a while, so he had a lot of different combos and stuff. I think the character can be is going to have some good creativity, and can I just mention how good or how godlike that new stage is? That stage is godlike.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, the Christmas stage too is
Oh,
absolutely amazing too.
the Christmas stage is amazing too. Yeah, no, like I completely forgot about. I didn't. I think I played on it once, and I thought it looked really really good. But man, that new stage that's coming with Akuma is just it's just absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. I really really like that stage. So I'm hoping because Akuma's coming out the 20th, so I'm assuming the stage is coming. And then, I hope since I'm going to buy the season pass for season 2, I'm hoping I at least get most of those costumes. And I don't know, maybe they're going to be nice enough and throw a stage in, but I doubt it. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to when Akuma drops. But that kind of leads into the other thing is that they announced at Capcom Cup they're going to release 5 new they announced season 2, excuse me. So if everybody saw the Akuma trailer, they announced Akuma, but then they also put at the end of the trailer part of the season pass, and they showed season 2 with these other silhouettes, and then everybody had their speculation, and then at the finals they speculated that, or they didn't speculate, they came out and said it's going to be 5 new characters to the Street Fighter 5 universe, or Street Fighter universe. So I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts about what do you guys think about Capcom adding 5 new characters outside of Akuma leading the way for season 2, rather than maybe having a couple characters that are new and then have some old returning vets. But before, I'll have Mikey start, but before Mikey gets started, welcome JR to the podcast. He's here.
Better late than never, right?
Better late than never, yeah.
Right on time. I like this question too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mikey.
I think for me personally, if Street Fighter 5 wants to continue to pull in new players, at least it release characters that people, they know who they are, or they recognize them, and like, oh, I know who Sugat is. I want to buy the game. You're not looking to sell the game right now, at least to players that are super super competitive. We already have those players. Most of our players right now are just the community, right? Mm-hmm. Right now we don't have too many casual players. You ask somebody, hey, what do you play? Oh, they say we play MKX. If you ask them what kind of fighting games they like, and the reason why is because they recognize those characters: Sub-Zero, Scorpion, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In this game, if you introduce 5 new characters in season 2, for me at least, I think it's gonna decrease the chances of people understanding, okay, what is this? This Street Fighter 5, what happened? And the same thing happened with Street Fighter 4. They were like, oh, who's this character? But there were so many old characters like E Honda, T-Hawk, Fei Long. There were so many Street Fighter 2 characters. There were some alpha characters. They recognized them, so it wasn't hard to say, oh, I think this game is pretty cool. I've played Street Fighter before. I'm gonna buy it. But in this one, it's difficult. The same thing happened with Third Strike, I believe. They thought, well, who are these characters? I don't know who Remy is. I want to buy this game, And the system mechanics didn't help either. It was pretty hard to understand. And so I'm not really sure what Capcom really wants with having 5 totally new characters, unless they're old characters. I know there was a little article on Event Hub saying that maybe the translation was off. Maybe they were saying there's 5 new characters that are going to be changed, like Sagat gets changed or something like that, or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know the direction they want to go with this. I feel like it's hurting the franchise, not franchise, but the game, to release 5 new characters. What do you guys think?
I think with the characters, what scares me is new characters are always really hard to balance.
Yeah.
Especially coming to a game, and especially if you don't know a lot of movesets. If you take like Sagat or something, we kind of know what to expect already. But new characters that haven't been in the series or the game kind of makes me nervous.
It does.
The thing is, what I have a feeling they might do is I think they might be new characters in terms of appearance. But I have a feeling that a lot of them will probably share similar movesets with other, fighters in the older games. Like you mentioned Remy. how Remy was kind of like a Sagat, Guile, high-low Sonic Booms. I have a feeling they might do new characters like that, but give them kind of like an older character moveset. So that's I'm nervous, but I'm also kind of excited because I do like seeing uh, new entries to the series. I love all the new characters that were introduced in 5. I love them all more than the characters that were introduced in 4. I think the only characters I liked in 4 that were new were what was it, Viper?
El Fuerte.
Vi- Not El Fuerte. Viper was cool and Abel was cool, but the rest of them didn't really care for. So,
Right.
but Street Fighter 5, I love all the characters. Nakali, Laura, Rashid, Fong, they're all great, and so that's why I am kind of excited to see the new characters. But again, in terms of competitiveness, I'm scared for their balance and what they can do to the game, especially because we're only getting one update a year. So
Yeah,
it'll be an interesting year to see every time they get released.
and for you to mention that you're excited and scared at the same time, yeah, it's exciting to see new characters, right? But we don't know where they're gonna go with it. But with season 1, like you saying, all the characters are all good. I thought all the characters' designs were really cool, and so they've done a good job there. So there's a good chance that maybe the characters will have good design, but we don't know that. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, well, even though it's gonna bring up later, I have a feeling they might do a new character and kind of have it as like the bridge for MVC Infinite, which we'll talk about later. Because they've always tended to do that. Obviously the characters are shared, but I think it would be cool to see kind of like a bridge character that's in both of them, and that makes his debut, which would be a good way to promote the new character, whoever they do. Will they do it? I don't know, but it would just be cool to see.
Sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, I think at this point, there's going into season 2. There's already about the same ratio of characters that are indigenous to this game as it was in 4. In fact, I think there was probably more new characters in 4. I am actually rather excited about getting to try out 5 characters that I go in not having any preset stereotypes. If you say that Rose is going to be included, we kind of have an idea how it's going to play, and it's going to kind of lead to some sort of expectations. If you play Sagat, and in all fairness, he's the one character that I'm really surprised isn't in, because I feel like he's the one character that popularity transcends those that are still not there, except maybe Blanca, but that's a different story for a different time. But if you have Sagat, you kind of feel like this is going to be a projectile zoner.
But who knows?
But people who play Sagat are going to have expectations of that before he even loads out. What if they had Sagat without a fireball? It sounds interesting, but Sagat players would be pissed off before it even started. They would be like, uninstall game, Capcom, you're dead to me. So I like the idea of starting from scratch and learning a character. I feel like I've gotten more out of the new characters in 5 personally than most of the returning characters. What worries me is that I feel like they're playing with public relations currency that they don't have. This game, from a popularity standpoint and how the community feels about it, is already on edge thanks to several dubious decisions and rootkits and rage quits and all kinds of other issues, that this is a risk you feel like they haven't earned the right to take it.
Yeah, I agree
Now,
with that completely.
it's their game, so I mean, I use the term earn sparingly, but it worries me that this is a game that can't take the risk of alienating more people by even more bad decisions.
Mhm.
So it really puts the onus on these characters to be both accessible and fun and not a blatant copy of a character that's not there. You know, if we see a new character with handcuffs that does a slide and throws rocks and we call him Brody, that's not going to fly. You know, if there's a Samoan sumo guy named Rodney who comes out in a red and black thong and then does headbutts and bonsai drops and the 100-hand slap, I think we're gonna kind of see through that. So it's a risk. I like it personally because I like starting from scratch with characters and not going in expecting this from this certain character, which I feel like the people who have been through various iterations of Mortal Kombats and Street Fighters already have expectations of what you think Katana is going to play like, what you think Melina is going to play like, what you think Blanca is going to play like. So I like going in there not knowing anything, but man, you better do a good job with this, because if you do 5 characters and then they are A, difficult to play or difficult to understand, or B, just straight up low tier, you wasted season 2.
Yep.
Like, these characters can't just be fun, they have to be good.
Yep. I agree with that.
Like the whole Hokan thing.
Yeah, like you can't looking at season 1 now, you would say that Guile is good, and you would say that Urien is good, and Balrog is probably decent. But if they turn out the way Jury turned out, you're in trouble. You're more trouble than you already are. And maybe Jury is good, but she seems to be consensus near the bottom, and she seems to be handicapped in a way that characters not named Ibuki are. So, sorry. I like the decision. I hope it pays off. I think it has the highest peak. Like, I have 5 new characters that are mostly fun and turn out great and turn out to be characters that you can use in future games. Is much better than getting a Sagat clone that people hate playing because the game is not a zoning game. The system mechanics don't reward it.
Yep.
I'd like it. I like having the new characters, but I'm also I think they would have been better served, in my opinion, since there's 6. It would have been better served 3 new, 3 returning. That way you can still get your balance of new characters into the Street Fighter lore, but also, like you said, Mikey, the casual players have left this game. They're gone.
It's going to be hard to get them back.
It's going to be very difficult to get them back. The way to get them back is potentially releasing characters that people want. Like, I hate to say it. I mean, I may not play these. I don't know, man.
There's a lot of people, casual players, that won't buy something if the character they don't like is in it. Isn't in it. Like, you already, like, I mean, you're talking about, the casual of the casual, the people that just play the games, that don't have any interest in competition or the pro tour or anything. They just play it. They get together with a group of friends. They want to pick somebody that they liked when they're a kid or something. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people will buy games based off if a character is in it or not.
Yep, I bought Smash Brothers because Marth was in it.
I bought the Wii U, and I bought Smash 4 just because Mega Man was in it.
Oh man!
If Mega Man was in it, I don't care.
I don't know. I feel like people who, even if you were only putting the high point of Street Fighter V to just be the same at Street Fighter 4, people who liked Street Fighter 4 and have left Street Fighter 5. The reasons they've done so is not related to a character coming back. And if they were a Forte player and they're like, oh man, Forte's back, I get to tick people off now, yeah, maybe they play the game for another month, and then they're going to be reminded of all the reasons they didn't like Street Fighter V, and they're going to leave in a month.
But you could also look at it. Capcom gets their money.
They brought him back.
They brought him back for even if it's that for that 1 month. Like, I'm thinking of it as a business model. If you put, like, I mean, you look at some people that are like, I want Q, I want Oro, you know.
Well, not even that. Like, look at Marvel, and look at how many people are like, no X-Men in it. Like, I'm not gonna buy this game.
Oh well, we'll wait for that. That's.
I know, but you know, just like that. I think that's what character selection, you know, it has to. I think it's a big deal with, especially with
maybe.
casuals.
I don't know. I feel like the Street Fighter character selection is so diverse. The only one really missing that I feel like is popular enough to warrant that kind of worry is Sagat and was Akuma. I'm sure there are hardcore Viper fans out there, but don't worry, Viper fans. I think you're going to see her in 2017, just not in Street Fighter V. But there's so many Street Fighter characters now that it's, other than Sagat, I don't really see one character that's like, man, this is going to bring the game back for me.
Okay. Well, the last thing I kind of wanted to wrap up with this before we move on to the last topic would be the build that we played at PlayStation Experience had some balance changes. I'm not going to go over all the changes because they're not finalized yet, but just some of the highlights that we kind of saw during the weekend. One of the biggest ones to me, obviously, is like Chun-Li is arguably the best character in the game. She got toned down a little bit. Instant air legs were nerfed. Fireball has tad more recovery. I think you guys mentioned she has like a Swiss cheese kind of a thing now, where she
she has a mash inputs now for lightning.
Let's see. Probably one of the bigger things that kind of like made me I laughed because I'm not very fond of this character, but no one more invisible wall for our Mika in mid screen. I think that's a
6 clap.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting change. I don't think it's going to be the end all be all to her. Players are just going to have to play a little different, but. You know, there's just a lot of different changes that people are finding out now. That
I think the worst nerf for her is the frame difference on Clap. I think that's actually worse because she gets a good enough. If you have good hit confirms off light, you can confirm light into EX and get a good corner carry, and at that point you have the wall bounce and the mix-up. But Clap is more, forward medium punch is more or less safe, and if you make that now minus. They're saying it's -5 or -6?
-6. Dawson, I was watching Mikey and Ryan F-Chat play, and before they even played, the guy previously before that Mikey took over on the Winner Stays On session was playing Mika, and before Mikey could switch the characters, Ryan like stopped him, and he did Mikey did the clap, and then Dawson got like a back medium kick into Yoga Flame. And it's just like, man, it's so unsafe now. I know Claw gets his full Clawless gets the full target combo into EX Barcelona, so that's a lot of damage for one move.
I think the biggest change, like system change at least for all the characters, are the forward throws and the V reversals, and I believe the Gray Life.
Yep.
Those were the weirdest changes. I mean, the throw makes sense. And the V-reversal, I'm not so sure about that. Some characters have some weird properties. They knock them back really far, like Ryu and Karen, for example. And then the recovery for a V-reversal is a lot higher. So you're
it's negative on hit now.
Yeah, negative on hit. Forward throws make sense. Like, you get thrown. I just don't feel I'm not a big fan of the whole, like, you can't move at all. Like, you're stuck there. It's like Street Fighter 4 all over again. So I'm kind of curious what they wanted to do with that. Getting rid of the tick throws makes sense, but they could have just slowed down the animation of the throw of your recovery instead of. It looks like I'm throwing somebody in Street Fighter 4. It literally does, if I remember correctly. So I don't know. And also the Gray Life. The Gray Life, it recovers super slow now. which
GG's get Zangief.
I don't know why they did that. What they should have done was just increase the damage slightly. Like, for example, if a heavy attack does 15 gray life, make it do 17. You know, if a medium attack does 8, make it do 10. Or something, you know, stuff like that. The gray life was fine. It healed fine. The only problem was that attacking didn't do that much. So they healed up pretty fast. That was the only problem. Now, I think there's a video out there. The gray life is super slow. It's so slow that you getting hit on block is you getting hit, essentially. That makes no sense. So I don't know why they did that. And then Zangief over there, he's going to be like, he's going to absorb a hit, and he's like, I can't even heal this, so I don't even know what he's going to do.
Yeah, it seems like Geef, that really hurts Geef a lot, because he relies on that V skill to get in, and it takes so much gray life.
Yeah, so
but then I feel like characters like Sim benefit greatly from that sort of thing, too. I mean,
yeah,
you know, the whole thing is just getting gray life and that threat of getting hit and just losing a ton of life. So
I don't know. Hopefully that changes, because that was not. I don't think that was a good idea.
Are they trying to make the game more offensive oriented now with all these, or like, I mean,
it's offensive already.
It's already offensive. I think they're trying to slow it down just a bit.
That's not slowing it down. It's hurting it. It's
like, I feel like I feel like at that point with some of the stuff they're doing now, they're trying to make the game faster than it is already, and I think the game is already played fast.
Well, I think the thing that makes me say that I think they're trying to slow it down is the whole, you know, V reversals, knocking it away, throws, and, you know, pretty much resetting a situation back to neutral. Like, it feels like they want stuff instead of people to always be in your face. Like, okay, you got your throw, you got your V reversal, but now you have to play the mid-range game again. Like, if that's what I mean by, like, I feel like they're slowing it down.
I think what they're trying to do is like force more neutral. And there were definitely better ways to do that. For example, more recovery in certain normals. Have them stick out more active frames in certain normals, adjust the hitboxes and hurtbox in certain normals. And then the priority system, it kind of hurts that, because when somebody's doing a low forward and you happen to do fierce by chance, you're gonna always win. There's no like, oh, I stuck up my low forward before you did. I don't know. Like, the priority system kind of screws that up. Crash counters, that kind of dissuades people from sticking out normal sometimes, because they might get crush counted for sticking out a jab. I don't know. I don't think it's a lazy way of balancing. It really is. The jabs, some characters have 4-frame jabs now, but now some characters have 3-frame jabs. That doesn't make no sense. The DPs being non-invincible, and then it just doesn't make sense. DPs have been invincible for so long, and on top of that, you get crush counted if you do it. So it's like, if I wanted to play Guile, I would play Guile instead of playing Ryu.
I worry that it's not rewarding the people who have good defense.
Yep.
Because the difference between a good player and a very good player, I've noticed is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, is all about how good defense they play. I mean, neutral has a lot to do with it as well, but I feel like your basic, am I going to throw or is he going to strike? The really good players, if you try to stick to just the basics, that's not going to ever open them up, because they have good defense. And at this point, I feel like, you know, the analogy has been made to Street Fighter always essentially being rock, paper, scissors, you know, as throw or strike, and the way it's sounding to me makes it seem like, why would you ever push a button on defense? You take the throw and you go back to neutral. If you're a character like Chun and you have a good neutral, why would you ever push a button? Why would you even try a reversal?
Yeah, that's true.
Get thrown, you have a dominating reverse neutral game, go from there. I mean, I like emphasizing the neutral, because I feel like that is the most dynamic part of the game, whereas, you know, a lot of offense is essentially reading and or guessing. But like you said, that there are better ways to encourage neutral than to try to skew the options in favor of going to it, if that makes sense.
I apologize for I'm pretty sure you guys hear a loud noise. It's my heater. I don't know why it does that.
It's all
Just barely
good.
does. Anyway, I guess yeah.
I guess we'll just wait and see because they said that the changes weren't final yet, but I guess we'll see. But before we move on to the last thing, the one thing that I thought that was really cool was one of the changes that somebody found about Bison is now Bison can absorb one projectile and it could be stored and then used later in a combo.
What?
I think that's really
That's really good.
If JR knows, but if you guys didn't, I was playing Bison for a little bit, just messing around. I may be back on the Bison train. This character got some stuff, man. He got a 3-frame short now, and then now that store on
3-frame crouching short.
Stand.
Oh, okay.
I think it's stand jab. I forget something.
It stands short.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It took my stand short away.
Yeah, they took it and gave it to Bison. That makes no sense.
Oh,
now
boy.
Vega
Vega's
is
worse.
he's screwed, right?
On defense, he's got nothing anymore.
Well, they've got the way you're going to go about the system changes. Like for example, if you nerf any pressure off a mid-screen throw, you better buff Laura because that is going to
Laura's
destroy
good.
her.
Laura's good, 100%.
Is she?
Yeah, you know why? Because there's no DPs.
Right, but if the only option you have to make them respect your striking is to throw, and it takes them back to a neutral, how do you get back into that situation?
What do you mean? Like in terms of like the throw game?
Yeah, because she has you back throw, dash up, and now anything
that's
you do
fine.
is meeting.
That's fine because her mix-ups now they have to take it.
Okay, they do.
They have to take it.
It's how I have heard it is she gets a back throw, she can't dash up and apply pressure again.
Yeah, because
that's every character. That's universal. So that's not a Laura nerf. That's a everybody nerf.
Right, but I feel like Laura depends on that more than other characters.
He's just like that system nerf hurts her more. That's what he's trying to say.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess so.
I guess only time will tell.
Because characters with fast dashes are still gonna get in there, but
Yeah.
And my character got her V reversal nerfed. I hate you, Capcom.
which going back, it's one thing I wish I would have
Should've.
tested it, and I don't think anyone tested it. Was Claw's V reversal.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what if I was able to change directions now, but because if they took my 3-frame short, like at least let him choose which direction he wants to flip.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I didn't see anyone try it, and I think it was when people are so focused on everything else that kind of
we didn't even think about trying that when we were trying to figure out things.
Yeah.
Apparently, Cammy has an air throw now. I don't know.
Well, there's gonna be some kind of external testing phase. I gotta believe Capcom's not like that. They're going to have a beta out there at maybe having a build at a tournament or something like that to get some kind of input. I can't imagine that they're just gonna roll this out.
I don't know. That's what it sounds like because with
the patch is coming with Akuma.
Yeah, because when Akuma comes out on the 20th,
really,
it sounds like that's what they're going to do. Akuma comes out in 2 weeks, so I from my knowledge, that's what's going to happen.
I would also, before you move on I would also like to mention that if you're going to nerf anti-air jazz, which I don't think is a bad thing, you also gotta improve the hitboxes on some characters' anti-airs.
Yeah, they did need to do a lot of things with hitboxes, but I think that's another story because there's a lot of things.
There are. I'm not saying that there aren't issues like that across the board, but anti-airs in particular, I feel like are the normals other than the anti-air jet, Nikali jab or Chun-Li short. Mm-hmm. That Laura's stand medium punch or fierce elbow trades or flat out loses. What does Vega even have? I don't know what Vega's solid anti-air option is.
Stand roundhouse crouch first.
Okay, I see
Good call.
Bison's crouch fierce lose all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to, I, if you're going to reduce anti-air jabs, which is a good idea, I still think you need to improve anti-airs to the point to discourage people from jumping.
Okay.
Because I think the risk reward right now is too good, and you saw that at Capcom Cup.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens when the patch rolls out. So,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Moving on to the last thing. It's no secret anymore. The game is alive. I'll eat crow. Yeah. I wholeheartedly said that this game was not going to happen. So this is me publicly admitting that I was wrong. PSX on Saturday morning, the second gameplay trailer at the opening keynote, they show a trailer for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It's actually alive. I'm pretty amazed. I know that Mike, the Jeef, and Reyes were waiting in line to get into PSX. They had a screen out there showing the keynote, and we see that trailer, and you see Mega Man X on the screen, and Mike and Jeef are popping off, and then all of a sudden Ryu jumps in, and we're like, oh my god, it's real. It's actually happening. And then I see Iron Man and Ms. Marvel. I lose my shit. Absolutely I just lose it. So it's finally here. The rumors are put to rest. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has been announced. It's coming out, like the rumor said, it's coming out in 2017, which is it's next year, pretty soon. One more month and we're into 2017. So Infinite is a 2v. They said it's a 2v2 game. It's gonna. What I found very interesting, before I get your guys' thoughts about it, is as soon as that trailer was released and they showed that, they immediately put it out in their blog, and they said the first things that caught my eye immediately that they put is this game will have an arcade, training mode, mission modes, and it will have a cinematic story mode. That just tells me right away, it's like, man, I almost feel like they learned their mistakes from Street Fighter V.
Yeah, they're actually having internal people help develop the game. The previous developer of Marvel's Capcom 3, he's not involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad thing. It's just they're really focused on making this game not another Street Fighter V release. So,
and I thought that was interesting because I think Maximilian said on Twitter that this is the first Capcom fighting game that they're making internally in over 10 years or something like that. He said it's a huge deal that they're going this route because they don't want to mess up.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah. So, just I don't know. Before we wrap, like initial thoughts. What do you guys think? Like, are you happy to see another Marvel? Like, are you happy with the way it's formatted, the way the game is designed?
I'm pretty happy with it because it looks good. I think it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And also, 2v2 is easier for players to pick up because you don't have to worry about 3 characters. You only need to learn 2. And even then, learning 2 characters, like the dynamic as a team, you can actually focus on 2 sets of characters in one team. And if you're like playing 3 characters, you're like, okay, well, I have to make sure that this character is good. My character comes in, it's gonna, my second character is gonna die. Now my third character has the least amount of experience. I'm gonna just do really bad. So I think that was really good. And then also the gems, I think that's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure if there is going to be a system or not, it doesn't matter if we'll have one or not, because like I said, the 2v2, there's good things there already, I think. And if people are saying, oh, it looks like I don't know, a mobile game, or it looks like another Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I don't think it does. I think it's still being developed, right? It's only one trailer, so I look forward to it. I think it's gonna be good.
Mike?
Yeah, I think it's. If you would have saw my reaction when they showed Mega Man X, like I seriously went nuts, and I think it was just the hype. Like if I was watching it at home, I would have popped off, but I think just the hype of being at PSX, and then like kind of hearing everyone else pop off, like I just lost it. And just seeing Mega Man X made me really excited for it. Yeah. So 2v2, that's fine. I have no problem with it. I'm interested to see how the mechanics are going to play into the gameplay. what type of gameplay is it going to be? Marvel 2, Marvel 3. They took a lot. A lot of the fighting went on in the air. I'm interested to see if like this one is more, kind of like ground based, short burst combos, super jumps, but then you're back onto the ground, kind of like Marvel One was a bit like that. Um, and just seeing what characters they pick. I saw an article today that said from Event Hubs that said that they already have the roster finalized.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine Marvel told them these characters are in it, and that's that. Uh, and Capcom, I'm sure they have their characters selected because Capcom also just recently said today that they're going back and they're looking at all their dormant IPs and they're wanting to release them, and that's the reason Marvels of Capcom Infinite got put into development and announced. They know that's one of the most popular games they have, and they wanted to bring it back. So I'm interested to see if Capcom puts in a lot of old characters that we haven't seen in a while into this game instead of the like super familiar faces like Dante and Virgil or uh, who else like the Resident Evil guys.
Mm-hmm.
Going back and bringing back some older characters, and I think they're doing that with Mega Man X. They already said the reason he was in was because of his massive popularity in the West. So, I'm excited to see, who makes it, looking at new designs. Um, Usually, whenever they make new character models like that, I always want a new version of that game, like with Beautiful Joe. I thought they did an amazing job with him in Marvel 3, but we never got that new Beautiful Joe game. But, other than that, looks great. Happy for it. Can't say much about the gameplay. They saw a 30-second trailer, uh, but can't wait for it. It doesn't hurt to always have a new game. Hopefully, bring new members into the FGC as well.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows if it's out before Evo. I remember saying I thought numbers would drop next Evo. Having Street Fighter V Season 2, potentially Injustice 2, and Marvel Infinite. I think if you had those three, you're gonna see numbers climb even higher than last year.
Yeah.
So and then potentially adding a new game to Capcom Pro Tour. Like who doesn't want to see high level fighting gameplay? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just to me, it's just not everything is good. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds in the future.
JR, do you have any thoughts on
Oh.
Marvel?
Well, people will be angry about the roster in the end. That's just the way that's going to go. As someone who only spectated and didn't play, I did find the game sometimes difficult to follow, but it was probably one of the most exciting games ever. I hope it maintains that spirit and they learn from the mistakes they've made in the past 3-4 years and do that particular fan base right, because that fan base has kept that game alive a lot longer than it probably should have been. And I'd like to see them be rewarded with a solid game.
Okay.
10 more years.
Yeah.
I, for one, am excited for this game because I'm a Marvel person. I like the Marvel Universe characters. The thing that got me sold about this game is in the initial launch trailer, or the first trailer ever for this game, you put Carol Danvers in the trailer. I'm sold. You're like, I'm buying the game because of Carol Danvers. Like, that is she Captain Marvel is amazing. Now, there was a rumor that there's going to be potentially no X-Men because of they want to probably focus on the cinematic universe for Marvel. I think that's okay. I don't think you necessarily need Magneto and Doctor Doom and Wolverine to make it successful, but I personally think that they even said in an interview, don't count the X-Men out. I can see the X-Men coming in, or some X-Men like Magneto or Wolverine or someone coming in later on as DLC. Could you imagine they put that out as DLC? It's going to sell like hotcakes.
Maybe, but I mean, we did just have the discussion about people wanting not leave playing the game because they wouldn't have certain characters. And I imagine in the Marvel Universe, Magneto, Wolverine are the kind of characters that carry that kind of weight, if that's a thing.
Oh, of course.
Oh, definitely.
Of course, but I think the MCU now, with the movies being so big and everything, it can provide a unique dynamic roster that even if Magneto or Wolverine's not in there will be a character in there that can get people to say, "Hey, I'm buying this game day one because
You
it
think
has."
so?
Oh yeah, for sure. If you, my opinion is Black Panther is going to be in the game. That's going to be your Wolverine replacement. Carol right there, it could be your Magneto pseudo replacement, or they can add in Vision that will take over Magneto's spot. They can add. There's so many characters in the MCU that can take place of these more X-Men characters, and who's to say that maybe later on it gets added? So, it's all good. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see. Like, I think 2017 is going to be a huge year for fighters. Street Fighter 2 Season 2, Marvel, Tekken 7. King of Fighters got a graphics buff. The game looks great. And then, if NRS, if you guys are listening, I want to know when my game's coming out. Because apparently there's no news on that front. So please tell me.
It's got to be before fiscal year.
I'm hoping.
That would be
it'd be
really bad for them.
But either way, I mean, it's a huge year for 2017 for fighters. I agree with Mike. I think Evo could be potentially the bigger next year than it was this year because of these. Marvel is going to be huge. You know, I like the art style. I already like the 4 characters that they put in the game so far. Or no, actually, there's 6 now. They added Captain America and Morgan, so I'm okay with the roster size so far. And I know that, you know, hopefully, it seems like they're on the way of learning their lesson from Street Fighter V, its launch, and I hope it continues to get better. I will say before we kind of wrap things up that the one thing I think that this game absolutely needs, if they want to sustain casual fan base, you need to make sure your online is playable. That should be like one of your number one priorities.
I don't know, man. History says.
Oh, well, of course,
history's not on their side.
It's definitely not. But I mean, you got to think that this has got to be one of the things you got to put money into, because if this works out, then you know it will sustain the casual audience to play even more. So, well, I don't know. I guess time will tell. You know, 2017 is. It's crazy because they, you know, the from what others have said in articles and stuff, it's set for a late 27 release date. So maybe it does not come out for Evo. It comes out after.
It's gonna come out before Evo Japan, probably.
Yeah.
I could see it releasing the same time as Infinity War. That's next year, right?
Infinity War is 2018.
2018. Then what's the big one next year?
Guardians is in May, and then Thor Ragnarok is in November.
Okay, I could see them releasing it around one of the big movie releases, just to build hype. You know, the characters are in the game. You know, everyone can play as them.
I would be surprised if it was before Evo.
I am too, because I just hope that they're not trying to rush it out, because you know they have all this stuff down. They can say this, but I really hope that they don't try and push it out because they need to get the sales. Because I think for a lot of players, yeah. The competitive players want Marvel before Evo, but I think they can wait a couple months after Evo, knowing that they're going to get a more polished game. So,
well, I think most Marvel players would probably tell you to look at Street Fighter V, and I would imagine at this point might tell you waiting the extra year at Evo, if it means our game is better, is totally okay.
And
I'm predicting a May and November release.
Okay. Yeah, and I think too, if it doesn't come out for Evo, with Sony saying that it's out, and not even just Sony, for Xbox and PC, Marvel 3 is going to be released on next gen or current gen consoles and PC. I can see Marvel 3 coming back for Evo this year for maybe the last hurrah, depending on the release date of this game, and then next year will be the first year of Marvel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, yeah, I guess we'll just kind of keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully, I just hope that the rosters has unique characters, and you know, I hope Capcom puts some. I hope we see some returning Capcom heroes from like older games, like maybe like we get Captain Commando or Jin, or maybe some Darkstalker characters or something like that, just to, you know, I don't know. I hope we get more of a you know, I hope they just don't use some of the same Capcom characters from like the last game, Maybe
I don't know. I hope Wesker and DC Douglas are both in the game.
Oh, if Wesker's in, I'm playing Wesker. But
it's got to have the same voice actor.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's just gonna wrap it up. We kind of covered everything that we wanted to talk about from Capcom Cup weekend. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add before we kind of call it a day?
The PS experience was awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely go if you have a chance. It's not very expensive. I got to play some really cool games. Got to meet, take a lot of pictures, meet some people, and
the Rapper the Rapper.
I got to meet Parappa the Rapper, which was the highlight of my weekend. Because that dude was one of my favorites as a kid, and I still hold it down for that guy. But yeah, PS experience, awesome time. One of my first major conventions, and definitely be going back next year. If you get a chance, definitely check it out. Even if you're not a Capcom fan, just go because it's an awesome show.
Yeah, it's just a great video game show. And Mikey, I did notice one thing I wanted to just say that you met. Did I see on Facebook or something? You took a picture with a clicker.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a Last of Us booth or anything.
Was it a cosplayer or just a?
It was a cosplayer.
It was a cosplayer. Okay, I thought it was like at a Naughty Dog booth or something.
But non-FGC related. Me and Mikey are hyped for Last of Us 2. Yeah, it's gonna be so amazing.
There's so many.
Persona 5
and Persona 5. But if like Mike said,
Hot Shots Golf.
You got to tell them the story really quick before we go. The Hot Shots Golf. Man.
So the new Hot Shots Golf. If you don't know what it is, it's an old golf game. It's from the PS1 days. It became a really popular series by Sony. Great golf game. The new one got announced, and it was playable at the PS experience. And Jard sees it, and if you don't know, Jard is a huge golf fan. He goes nuts because he loves the series too. So he walks up to the controller when it's his turn after the guy before him leaves, and it's a par 4. First time ever playing the game. Hits his first ball, perfect shot. He even lines up the lines perfect. Everything is straight up perfect. The screen's popping off, saying how great the shot was and showing the replay, and it lands right on the fairway, perfect. Second shot, fucking hits it perfect again. Goes right into the hole. Gets an eagle on the second time ever playing the game. And this dude is feeling himself so much, he throws the controller down, he throws his hands up in the air, and he walks away. He's like, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm the best. And I'm just sitting there with my jaw on the floor. It's like, that's the second time you ever played. The second thing you've ever did in that game, and you got an eagle. When I'm the people before I'm watching, and they're struggling to even putt the ball, and Jard just nails it perfect. I was so mad, dude.
I'm the best golfer in the room, and I'm the best video game golfer in the room.
I will attest to that. But no, that game was really, really fun, and I thought it was hilarious when that did, because I hit the shot going to the green, and then Mike's watching it, you hear this, no.
It's like a movie. Everything slows down. You just see the ball slowly rolling to the hole. And it's like, no, that is not.
Was Jeef there when that happened?
He didn't see it.
He didn't see it, and Reyes was also there, I believe.
Yeah. I was gonna say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how upset were they when that happened?
But yeah, that was pretty cool. That was one of my favorite memories of the PSX. But no, the convention was great. So for anybody who's even on the fence of going to Capcom Cup next year, I highly recommend, even if you're just a video game fan in general, to go to PSX. There was a lot to do, a lot of different games that you can play, a lot of different variety, but yeah, it was a great overall experience for the weekend.
Yeah, you may have answered this earlier, but did you enjoy it more than Evo?
Yes.
Okay.
As from a spectator standpoint, yes.
Just from how you experienced the weekend.
Yes.
If you had to pick one that you can only go to next year, would it be Capcom Cup?
Yes.
Probably.
Provided PlayStation experience is still a thing.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I think
easily. So. Because even though I didn't play in a tournament, like I said, I got to play so much over the weekend that, it made up for it.
I had I conditioned Daigo, dog. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Condition him to play you in golf. Maybe you could take him in Hot Shots Golf when that game comes out.
Maybe.
Or maybe you can break out Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf and see if you can take him in that.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of FGC Talk. So thank you to Mikey, Mike, and JR for joining me again, as always. It was good to be able to talk about the close of Season 1 to Capcom Cup and the Street Fighter season. We all await Season 2. As of this recording, our next local is Mix Up Monthly number 15 on December 17th. Come check that out. It'll be a description, link in the description. You're going to have Street Fighter 5, and then I am bringing back Marvel 3 from the dead. It is going to be alive, I'm assuming, if people show up to play, but we'll see. But yeah, you can follow us on Twitter. All our Twitter handles are there. You can check out our YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff right there. Please subscribe. We like doing this podcast. We try and do it every couple weeks if we can, or whenever our schedules fit. So yeah, until next time, I guess we will catch you guys on the next episode.
I guess. See you guys later.
Bye-bye.